ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, species of every description, welcome to Geek Syndicate, where we do what? We bring the sass back to geekdom. It's been a while, but we're back, and I am Monts, and he is...
Hot, 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 dum, 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 dum. Feeling hot, 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 dum, 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 dum. Now, me saying I feel hot is Barry, by the way, aka dude. Me saying that I feel hot would imply that I've enjoyed feeling hot, but you couldn't be further from the truth. I'm currently just melted into a puddle of brown goo.
You don't really brown goo,
which I realise is a wrong image.
Thanks for that.
You know, do you remember a film?
You're not a heat guy, are you?
No, I'm not, man. I'm not a heat guy.
That'd be why you got married in Iceland.
Yep. The clues in the location. Do you know what I mean? Mm. Man, and because I'm currently in the office I'm in at the moment, I've had to turn off my fan so we can record. Because that's the sort of podcast I am, taking the hit for you guys.
So you've set the jump clock.
I've set the jump clock now, and I'm looking, and it was reading at 24 when I turned the fan off. It's now up to a crisp 27.
Wow, lovely.
So we'll be keeping today's episode brief, like 2 minutes.
Well, today, you know what? I'm in a good mood. Today's just going to be pure joy. Pure joy.
Why's that?
Yeah, just have a good mood. Everything I want to talk about is just positive. Except I'm fuming, though.
Is that what they call a paradox? Yeah, I can't wait. Everything's great, everything's good. Yeah, but I hate everyone, and I'm fuming. Recorded? No, all right. So I don't normally talk about games, yeah? Okay.
But this is a game for the iPhone.
Right.
And I saw the advert, yeah? This is how they get you, yeah? Because they lie to you. They have the adverts pop up for this. And I thought, that looks pretty good. It was basically a zombie-based puzzle game.
Oh, okay.
You kind of like got to match up stuff, but you got different characters that got different skills, and then you got to match up shapes to kill the zombies, and it was just that. Fun. It sounded fun, so I thought, I know that little bit of a puzzle game, like zombie-based puzzle game, all up for that. Right, so to get the characters, you've got to build your settlement.
Right.
Yeah, so you got. Let me go back and have a quick look. So in the settlement, you start off with headquarters and a few other things, and you've got to build it. And then you've got to build a farm, and then you've got to build a lumber mill to get wood so that you can upgrade different stuff and build whatever. And only by doing stuff like that do you get the points to build your characters to take on the zombies in the zombie puzzles. And then you got a commander of your camp, and you've got to build up your commander. And then there's a research center because you'll get attacked by other people playing the game and by zombies. So you've got to build up your defenses and your ability to build stuff quicker. And then you've got to join an alliance of other people, because if you don't, you're screwed because other people will attack you. And it just goes on. And it goes up. My headquarters is currently up to level 17. I've got a level 17 fighter camp. And it goes on. And it's so first of all, I'm going to say props to the game designers here, because the work they've done it's amazing, and how intricate this little world they've created and how intricate all the little tasks are. And I'm like, there's like 100 different things you can be doing. Someone didn't sleep for a month putting this thing together. Yeah. The graphics look great for what it is. And I'm like, hold on, to progress quickly, they want you to pay money. I'm talking bucks. Yeah. And people are selling their profiles for like thousands of pounds because of the amount of money they've put into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they just got me. But I've sworn I'm not paying a penny. But that means I've got to work harder. But suddenly means Siobhan was like, you know what, you should delete that game because it's started to take over. And it's like, also you got to venture outside the camp to go and collect wood and food and whatever. You might get attacked on the way, and then there's monsters on the way. What? Why? I just wanted to play a puzzle game.
I just wanted to play.
I just wanted to. And also, it's the advertising. You didn't tell me all of this came with it. You know what I mean? Hands up. It's amazing. What they've done is amazing. I just wanted to play a puzzle. That's all I wanted. And suddenly, I'm building this world, getting my commander points, getting my Nova experience points up. You know what I mean? Upgrading my gear and my
So just to recap, when you started, you were like, "Yeah, really positive. Can't wait to talk about all this good stuff." Just bookended it.
No, this is. I mean, it's great, but that's the problem.
Yeah, that's mobile gaming 101, man. Most of them games, man, are designed to take money off you.
But that's what I saw. I downloaded it. I said, all right, one thing I swear to myself, I ain't spending a penny.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise how much they'd lied to me.
It wasn't the fact they lied. It was the level of lie. How deep does this go? In my head now, right? For you to get to this stage, to tell me all of this, that I went to your house, there'd be some room where the kids aren't allowed in, and you go in there, it's one of them walls where it's got loads of different like pictures and post-it notes and like red string attached to everything, and it's like, and then over it all, it's just a big picture. It just goes, "How deep does a zombie world go?"
It's like that though.
Just want to play, you're like ready.
It's like I can't get. Oh, mate. You got main quests you need to complete, and then you got your daily quests to get the point. And that's how you do the quest, and then like you're on it. And I see what they're doing. They're trying to wear me down. They know me. They're trying to wear me down. They're going, he wants to succeed. He wants level 5 characters to like to take on the zombies in the puzzles. And so if we keep bringing him back, at some point he's going to go, I'm not progressing quick enough. I need to get to the end. But there is no end, Barry. There is no end.
I know there's no. Welcome to the grind, man. That's what grinding is all about. That's what they call it when you don't. If you don't, jump the gun by paying more money and you just go up 3 levels, it's just grind. That's grinding. That's why a lot of games that I just tap out. Nowadays, I don't have the time, man. I like playing games. Obviously, I have 2 consoles. I enjoy it. But a lot of the games now that I play, if it's too much grinding, I'm out. Also, now, a lot of games now, and there's a lot of gamers that will probably be throwing the controller at the window. But hey, I don't care. A lot of games now I play with easy.
Because you just want to enjoy yourself. You don't want to grind.
Yeah, well, it's not even just... I was enjoying myself. I don't want to get frustrated. A lot of the games I play, there's a story. So actually, I'm quite interested in... I like playing for the story as well. You know, and I like a little bit of challenge. There's some games I might stick on normal and whatever. Most of the time, I just want to, kick back with a drink,
shoot some people in the face.
And call it George. You know what I mean?
Can I just say, I think that is one of the greatest things that you have brought to our friendship.
Call it George.
Call it George. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I just want to go down there, get a drink, call it George.
That's right, man. I'd like to take credit for it. And I'm sure there's a lot of North London people that still don't think that it's North London thing. But I'm telling you, people were saying that when I was growing up.
I don't remember that.
I do remember it. I didn't just make that, call it George. I don't know who George is or why we call it George, but we just do.
I started using blouse and skirts again. I don't know if you remember.
Oh, wow. Yeah, man. Blouse and skirts.
Blouse and skirts as an exclamation. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you go. Anyway, enough damn memory lane. That's my negativity out.
Cool.
I had to get out of the way right at the beginning.
Before we get on to news, do you have any shout-outs?
I do, but it's part of the news.
Okay. I have a quick shout. It was going to be a week that was, but I actually think it's more of a shout-out because I want people to go and check it out. So, a friend of ours and friend of GS, all-round good guy and artist, Dan Boultwood, is now doing I think it's weekly comic strip via Instagram.
Via Instagram?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, that's where I've seen it.
I think the fact that I went via Instagram has definitely just showed I am not down with the kids no more.
You were never bad. I might be down for about a month. The site is Rockets and Rayguns. So it's www.instagram.com/Rockets and Rayguns. Man, you need to get on this because one, I've always loved Dan's art, and I've always said Dan's art is a real old school pulp adventure sensibility. And finally, he's listened to me because what he's doing, it's basically an old school style Flash Gordon comic strip.
Okay, nice.
But obviously it's not Flash Gordon, but that's the kind of style he's going for. And I'm saying old, I'm talking about the Larry Buster Crabbe Flash Gordon, which was like 30s, whatever. To the point of remember the spaceships they used to have in them old Flash Gordons, the black and white ones. They used to kind of land in a circle and make that kind of that's it.
Yeah.
The ships look like that, and the main character is called Drake Mustang.
Drake Mustang. Nice.
So I think
Okay, so I've just signed in. He's only got 7 up there, so it's like early days.
Early days. It's great. It's great. You know, if I had one criticism, it would be like, there's not enough.
Yeah.
That's it. You know,
I like it. I see it like he's got the spaceship coming in. Fut.
Yeah, that's all. It's great if you don't know your Larry Buster Crab Flash Gordon from back in the day, that's fine. You still enjoy it. But if you know those old Republic serials, you will love it. So yeah, gotta check it out. Gotta check out my boy Dan because he's doing good work.
I love it. Oh, it's a great name, Drake Mustang.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And the dude's built like my house. Do you know?
Yeah.
Dude's just ridiculously proportioned. Right. Time for some news.
Time for the news.
Hey.
So, you got news then, I'll take it.
The world is birded. End of the news.
Right, there we go. Right.
I do. Yeah, I do have some news. Quickly, I've got I've got 3 bits of quick news. So I'm just going to rapid fire them. So one, I'm calling T-Watch, which is my new monthly watch of what I'm calling Terminator news, Rise of the Machines, End of the World, Robots Are Going to Kill Us All news, which is all wrapped up in T-Watch.
What's the new?
So they've developed. Apparently, they're working at the moment on like a multi-fingered robot. Apparently, one of the things they're struggling with is developing robot hands to efficiently grasp and manipulate objects. But researchers at University Hamburg have recently introduced a new approach to teach robots to grasp and manipulate objects using a multi-fingered robotic hand. So I just want to say...
like guns?
Exactly. Like guns. Like guns, mods. And then laser guns. And then people's throats as they're snapping them.
You know someone's going to be... We know there's going to be some kind of like US bids to use it for war or something. I've seen enough movies, man.
And like I said, man,
there's always a budget to develop things to kill people.
Yeah, feel free to send me in your email saying like, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it can be used for medical purposes and yada, helping the world. Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, Terminators. That's what's coming, people. Forget your heat wave. Once the heat wave's done, it'll be a wave of Terminators.
The heat wave is a deliberate distraction.
That's right. But don't worry, man. T-Watch. T-Watch is on the case. So that's the first bit of news. Next T-Watch. 2 bits of news are kind of joined. So obviously, we've just finished, or they've just finished airing the 6-episode Obi Wan limited series on Disney Plus. But have you heard that someone has cut this down into a 2-hour movie? Yeah,
someone's done it into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, they've cut it into a 2-hour movie. So what the guy? So I saw the link. Someone had put it up on the GS Facebook group, and I was a little bit hesitant to go and look at it because he'd done a TikTok video, and I was a little bit reluctant to go and watch it because I just thought it's just going to be one of these fan things where they're just going to like griping and whatever, and I just like, I don't know if I want that. But I have to say, the guy was really quite reasonable in like his reason behind doing it. He just felt that there was quite a lot of fluff in the show that could be cut out. A lot of fat, as it were, could be trimmed.
To be fair, I don't think there's a movie I haven't said that about in years.
Yeah. It's something we've both said, and in the, because Ant and I have been reviewing Obi-Wan as we've been going week by week, and we've kind of been saying a lot of similar things, and some of the stuff that he's kind of trimmed, or in inverted commas, because I've not seen it yet, fixed, have been issues and comments that Ant and I have raised. Okay. So I'm like, okay. And as he's talking on TikTok, he's got little clips from the cut. And I'm like, okay, now fair enough, So what he's done on his website, he's basically put a download link so you can download the cut. Okay. So I've downloaded.
Have you watched it yet?
No. This is what I was downloading before we started.
Oh, okay. Right. Gotcha.
So my thing is like, I'm really interested in this because, like you said, just because it's a fan that does it doesn't mean to say, one, it's going to be instantly rubbish, and two, that it's going to be like a fan doing it from grabs. Because I kind of feel like if you've put that much effort into it, there was clearly something about the show that he liked.
Love there.
And he kind of says he feels that it's better and blah blah. He's even rescored some of there's a I don't want to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for people who haven't watched Obi-Wan, but there's a pivotal kind of fight at the end, and he's kind of rescored it using a very famous piece of Star Wars music, which I kind of felt
rescored it.
Yeah, which I kind of felt at the time. You know what this needed? It needed blah 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 track, and this is what he's done. So I'm gonna give it a watch. I might see if Ant wants to give it a watch, and then we might do like a little special and kind of chat about it. However, what I would say to people, if people do want to watch this, I'd get it pretty sharpish, because even though he's got a little disclaimer saying like basically don't download it if you haven't got Disney Plus. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come on.
It's not going to last. It's not
people are going to download that who don't have Disney Plus, because that's going to probably be the only exposure way to get it. And two, how Lucasfilm ain't shut him down yet is beyond me.
All right. Thanks for that tip.
Yep. And my last quick bit of news, which is still Obi-Wan. Someone's done a deep fake of Ewan McGregor, and they've put him over Alec Guinness. Yeah, so it's like the old. So it's like, oh, mate, I'll put the link in the show notes. I'll send you the link afterwards, mate.
Okay.
It works. I've got to say, it works. It's obviously, it's still Alec Guinness's voice and stuff, but it does go to show how good the casting was of Ewan McGregor, like facially, for Obi-Wan. Because I was quite surprised, you know what I mean, and a little bit concerned about, because you sort of think, someone's done this, he's got the software, but they haven't got the budget of Lucasfilm. And I still sometimes think, like, I don't know how we get these sort of fan edits where they do this ridiculous, these ridiculous deep fakes. And then when someone like Lucasfilm tried to do it, like they did it obviously with Luke Skywalker and stuff, I'm kind of like, that's good. But the deep fake guy did it worlds better, and he's got like a fifth of your budget.
Like, what you need to do is stop being concerned with your cease and desist notices and employ them. Because if that's what they're doing in their home, and you actually give them resources, then wow,
you want to be hiring them people and sticking them in the room.
Exactly. You need to be seeing that as recruitment.
Yeah. Right, my news done.
All right, so my news, it's just the Arthur C. Clarke Award is annual science fiction book of the year award, basically, and they've just released a shortlist for 2022, and there are 6 books in there, and the winners are going to be announced in a ceremony at the Science Museum in London on October the 26th. Because the Science Museum is doing an exhibition called Science Fiction Voyage to the Edge of Imagination, which I'd quite like to go and see, actually.
Ooh, yeah.
So I just thought I'd run you through very quickly the nominations, and one of them is going to involve a shout out. So the first one is called, and I thought, I wonder if I can read them all by October. So the first one's called Deep Wheel Orcadia by Harry Josephine Giles. And I looked at the description and I was like, I'm going to leave that. It's the shortest one, but I'm leaving it to last because it sounds like it's hard work. Now, I've got nothing but applause for the format that this book is written in, but it sounds like hard work because it's a science fiction story set on a space station, but it's written in the Orkney dialect. It's poetry written in the Orkney dialect.
I don't even know what that means.
So it's poetry, but Orkney is an island off the coast of Scotland.
Yeah.
So they've got their own little dialect.
Oh, okay.
And Harry Josephine Giles is from Orkney, so has written it in their dialect.
Right.
And just so you and me don't lose the nuances, it's got a translation parallel, an English translation parallel to it.
Wow.
So I thought this sounds amazing, but it also sounds like work, man.
It does sound like work, man.
It's like if they did one like with Jamaican patois, I'd be on it because I'm invested in that.
Yeah.
And so I'd make that. I'm not invested in Orkney as much as I recognise the effort and the genius of the format. I'm like, yeah, and I'm gonna read it, but I'm like, part of me went, ooh, and I may come back to you and go, actually, that was amazing, but we'll see. The second one is called Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro.
Okay.
Then there's one called A Desolation Called Peace by R.K.D. Martin. The problem with that one
that's a nice title.
Yeah. The problem with it is it's book 2 in the series. So to read that, you've got to read A Memory Called Empire.
But that's some good titles, man.
There's some good titles. Then there's Wergen, The Alien Love War by Mercurio de Riviera. Yeah, people got some great names going.
That's a great. I mean, not knocking my folks, man, but I feel like they could have upped their game with Barry. You know what I mean?
What? And David, didn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
Baz and Dave.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
because you got a bit more English there, Jamaican parents.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, wow, man.
And then you just so keep on the name thing. Mm-hmm. Wergen sounds interesting. It's about a race of aliens who are addicted to humanity. Ooh. Literally like a drug. And of course, humanity being humanity will find a way to exploit that. And
a bit like me with cola bottles.
Exactly. I love cola bottles, man. They're my favourite Haribo. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. And the last one's not the last one. It's called Skyward Inn by Aaliyah Whiteley. So we've got Harry Josephine, Kazuo, Arcady, Mercurio, Aaliyah, and the last one, A River Called Time by my friend, and this is the shout out to Courtier Newland. So Courtier, I mean, come on.
Newland.
Yeah.
See, Mum, you could have called me Courtier. It would have been Courtier Nugent. How badass a name would that be?
Yeah, that would work.
That would have dropped. But again, you know, Mum, Dad, if you're up there listed, you know, no disrespect. Do you know what I mean? Barry's a great name. Can be Barry or Bartholomew. But I'm just saying, that's all. But
so, I mean, Courtier sent me a copy to read ages ago when it first came out. It's called The River Called Time. Mm-hmm. And I thought this book is going to have a hard journey because it's not your most conventional science fiction novel by far. And actually, it's more about the character than it is about the story. So the story goes with the character rather than the characters going with the story, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I thought people will struggle with this book, but I think it's a work of genius. But I could see that people will struggle. So when I saw it was shortlisted for an Arthur C. Clarke Award, I just had to message him last night and go, man, I'm so chuffed for you. Because I know it ain't been an easy journey with this book. I'm going to say it again. This book is genius, but I knew it was not conventional. So I knew it was going to have a hard time.
Is there a brief, like, what's the lowdown on it? Like they said it.
The Ark was built to save the lives of the many, but rapidly became a refuge for the elite. The entrance closed without warning. Years later, Mark Chris Denny is one of the select few granted entry. He carries with him a closely guarded secret, the ability of his spirit to leave his body and transcend the known world. But once he learns of another who carries the same power and their existence could spell catastrophe for humanity, Denny is forced into a desperate race to understand his abilities, and in doing so uncovers the truth about the Ark, himself, and the people he thought he once knew.
So, two things. One, that sounds boom.
Yeah.
Two, I'm not, unless there's something that I don't know, I'm not seeing the tough sell in that from a sci-fi point of view. That sounds fully...
Because it's all about Denny rather than a story.
Okay.
And it's about his journey in learning how to transcend the known world. So it gets a bit spiritual in places. And I think that people might struggle with that because people go, yeah, but what happens here? And I was actually, the journey is Denny.
Okay. Rather than the world building. So
yeah, I mean, and the world is built brilliantly. The world is very well built.
Right.
But yeah.
No, man, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, shout out to Courtier because I think well deserved, man, well deserved.
Yeah, keep that name rocking as well, man.
Yeah,
don't ever change it.
But he way back when I went through way back when I was like a late teenager. I went through a phase of just like of really collecting books written by black authors, and there was a kind of urban book set in West London estate and it was based around music and stuff, and it was written by a guy called Courtier Newland. And me and a matey, who's an old friend of ours, we were reading them at the same time and loving those books. And then I went to teach at the City Lit, and there was a literary tutor sort of teaching writing called Courtier Newland. And I was like, dude, are you the same guy who wrote blah blah? And that was him. So
okay.
The story's a good one. So yeah.
Nice.
But there you go. Enough new. We've been talking for ages. We haven't even got onto the meat of the show.
Hit it, man. Hit it.
It's time for the week. It's time for the month that was.
Yeah, you're right. Let's leave. Yeah, that was don't really work anymore.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start, man.
I'm gonna
The only thing I haven't done in the last month is read a comic.
right then. I'm gonna start with a comic because we do comics. I don't want people to forget that. So I read a comic. It's a 6-issue. Well, it's the first volume, and the second story has just started. So issue 1 of that's just dropped, which I will be reading. So this is called Prodigy, not to be confused with the band.
Yeah, very good.
Prodigy, The Evil Earth, which is written by Mark Millar. Artist is Raphael Albuquerque. Colorist is Marcelo Mayel. And letterer is Pete Doherty. Aforementioned apologies if I've murdered anyone's names. So let me read you the blurb, right? Have you heard of this comic?
I have not.
Okay, so let me read the blurb. Edison Crane's not content being the world's smartest man and most successful businessman. His brilliant mind needs to be constantly challenged. He's a Nobel Prize-winning scientist, genius composer, Olympic athlete, and expert in the occult. And now the international governments are calling him to fix problems they just can't handle.
There we go.
So anyone who knows me knows a blurb like that is going to be right up my street.
Yeah.
It's basically a modern day Doc Savage, and with dashes of Buckaroo Banzai, because it's not quite, even though it does get a bit wacky, it's not quite as wacky and out there as Buckaroo Banzai.
Okay,
you know what I mean, but it's there because Doc Savage, even though he's this character that can do anything and stuff, it's quite reserved in some ways, if that makes sense. Whereas Buckaroo Banzai is like madness, and this is kind of like a mix of the two. I really enjoyed it. I loved it because the plot it's not the most like surprising plot in the world. Do you know what I mean? We've seen it, the world's at stake, blah 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 blah. We've seen it all done before, but the art is gorgeous, the action is fantastic, and he can do anything.
Didn't see that coming. Yeah,
he can do anything. I like that. It's just a modern day pulp adventure story. It's not trying to kind of like educate you on anything. It's not trying to change your opinion. It's just trying to.
It's just a fun ride.
Exactly. It's just there to like give you a good time, and I had a good time. So that's Prodigy the comic. It collects issues 1 to 6. But yeah, it's a corker.
Cool. Did I must have mentioned Strange Adventures, Adam Strange. I must have talked about that before.
I think you talked about it when it was about to come out. I think is this by Tom King?
Yeah. So I read it. I read it, and it's a work of genius.
Okay.
So Strange Adventures is about Adam Strange, who's one of them old Silver Age DC Comics characters who basically he's got this red jumpsuit and he's got a rocket pack and a helmet and a ray gun.
I always get a Flash Gordon vibe from him.
Absolutely. And so basically his story was that he got hit by this thing called Zeta Ray, which takes him to another planet where he meets this woman and falls in love. And her dad is a chief scientist of this planet and he helps them fight off their enemies and becomes their hero. But he can never tell when the Zeta beam is going to go and it takes him back to Earth. And so basically it's him working out when the Zeta beam's happening because that's the only times he will get back to the planet, which he now calls home. So he's a man of two worlds.
Right.
And it's always been a bit gung-ho adventure type stuff. Then Tom King comes along and just makes everything a bit wrong. So I got the hardback and I'm looking at it now and it's got, this is #1 Daily Planet best-selling author, Strange Adventures, Adam Strange, a space memoir. So it's done up to look like, and even the back cover has got his picture on in a suit with a ray gun. Yeah, And it goes, the truth really is stranger and better than fiction. Signed Lois Lane, Daily Planet. So they've done it up to look like his autobiography. And the comic starts with him at a shop signing his autobiography. So literally the first thing you see is him surrounded by a pile of books with the same cover.
Right.
But when you've got the dust cover that goes on, it looks like someone's graffitied half of it and just basically just slagged him off. Was it? Yeah, because it. Yeah, so on someone's written on it. Someone's like written on it like space liar instead of space hero and stuff, and it turns out, how did he win this war? And his daughter's disappeared, and people are accusing him of war crimes. Oh no, they're saying his daughter's dead, and people have accused him of war crimes. And he says to Batman, "Look, I need. Look, I'm being accused of this, and it's not fair. But I need you to clear me. You're the world's greatest detective. I need you to clear me." And Batman's like, "Well, I can't. Do you know what I mean? I can't get involved because I'm Justice League. I've got to. You need someone who's not Justice League, so it's impartial." And so he gets Mr. Terrific on the case.
Oh, okay.
And one of the great strengths of this book, one of the great strengths of this comic is for the first time I get Mr. Terrific. Because before, he's just...
Remind me, he's the brother which has a T paint on his face.
He's got a T paint on his face, and he's got these little circles called T-spheres which buzz around and do it, and he's got a jacket that says fair play on it, and he's basically Mr. Terrific too, because there was a golden age Mr. Terrific, and it was all about fair play, and this guy liked what he was about, so kind of took that on, but it's just got this T on his face, and he's meant to be the third smartest man in the world after Batman. And I've just never really, I've wanted to, I've never really got him.
Yeah.
Until now.
Okay.
Until now. Mr. Terrific comes into his own. I mean, I'm like, so you're saying Batman's smarter than this guy? Because I'm not sure now. I'm not sure. Mr. Terrific is on it. He's on it. And I'm like, yeah. And it's just a good... What Tom King does is he takes these kind of hokey Silver Age heroes and he just kind of makes things kind of down and dirty. I'm not even going to say gritty, just adds in really flawed human complications to these sort of what were really two-dimensional characters, and then just weaves a story around it and a mystery around it. And that's what he does best. He did it with Mr. Miracle. He's done it again. And I was like, well, it's just going to be more of the same, isn't it? And to a certain extent, you can feel the similarities, but it's just a fantastic piece of comic work with some great art in it as well.
Who does the art?
The art is done by... It's shocking, isn't it? Oh, you know what? I just opened the comic. I went, oh, I got it signed. No, it's signed by Adam Strange as part of the... I know. The artists are Mitch Gerards and Evan Doc Shaner.
Okay, Mitch Gerards. Yeah, I must have heard that name before.
And Clayton Coles is the letterer.
Okay. How many? Do you know how many issues it is?
Do you know? I don't know because I've got the collection. I think
is it quite thick?
It's 12. I think it's 12 issues.
I was going to say. I think it was going to. Yeah,
because that's what he does. He does 12 issues and done.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I'm all for that these days. Man.
Yeah. Okay, so Strange Adventures. Is that what you call it?
Strange Adventures. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I'm on it, man. I'm on it. So
hey, look at us. We did comics, man.
Yay! Eh? High five, virtual high five. Now we've got a choice. We could go off and talk about some other things, or we could take the
remainder of our time.
Well, no, we can take we could take the segue and go like, well, as for Strange Adventures, how about some Stranger Things?
You know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. Go on. So who's doing that? Have you done the segue? Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Was it?
it's kind of us, really, isn't it?
Yeah, true that.
Yeah, so let's do the music now.
Yeah, okay. We could do both. We could do Stranger Things and RRR in the next 15 minutes.
All right, let's go for it.
Okay. Let's start with RR because I don't want to miss that.
All right. So Barry messaged me and said, "You've got to watch this thing called RRR on Netflix." He goes, "It's the most exaggerated thing you'll ever see." And he said, "Forget about your Marvel movies. This is what you got to watch." And I'm like, that's high praise. I've learned to trust Barry. I mean, 98% of the time he sees me right, and then sometimes he says, "Yeah, you got to watch Vampire Diaries," and I'm like, "Yeah."
Hey, look, man, shit got good in season 3.
Season 3, then. I'm not waiting that long for things to shit to get good, man. I ain't got that kind of time in my life no more. Season 3.
I'm kidding. I liked it from the beginning. But anyway,
so I went and watched RRR. It's 3 hours long. And I just said to Barry before we started recording, I don't have much time in my life, but that thing was 3 hours long and I would happily sit and watch that whole thing again. So let's talk about RRR.
Man,
that's why I stopped. I was like, I don't even know where to start.
Do you have to blur? So it's a Indian film, isn't it?
It's an Indian film. It says an Indian. I've got it up on Wikipedia. It says an Indian Telugu language epic action drama film, directed by S.S. Rajamouli, who wrote the film with V. Vijayendra Prasad. It was produced by DVV Entertainment. It stars N.T. Rama Rao Jr., Ram Karan, AJ, a whole heap of people I've never heard of in my life because I don't watch Indian films.
No.
I'm beginning to see is probably a mistake.
A major character flaw.
Since then, I've been going, right, I actually need to schedule some time and put in films I would like if I enjoyed RRR and see what comes up. And I don't think anything's going to come close to the greatness of this film.
I mean, I can't even. So basically, the film is kind of centered around. Here's the story. Oh no, yeah, Netflix have got kind of a bit more of a breakdown. So, so what Netflix says: a tale of two legendary revolutionaries and their journey far away from home. After their journey, they return home. I don't know about journey far away from home, but anyway, after their journey, they return home to start fighting back against British colonialists in the 1920s. Now, I don't necessarily think that's quite accurate. Some of it is. No. But yeah, it is basically centered around these two.
Wikipedia doesn't help.
No. To me, right, it's almost like if you took Batman and Superman and you decided to do it as an Indian action drama about how they first met, that I feel would be relatively closer.
Yeah. So you've got Karan and Rama.
Yeah. And so it was Stacey who told me about this, and I've got to say, next time I see Stacey, I have to give her the biggest hug in the world because I would never have come across this film without her. And she's same thing. She sold it to me, and I was like, I'll give it a go. I watched it. I watched it in one sitting. I watched the first 20 minutes, and then I had to come away for a bit of a break because it was just too much. And then I went back into it, and then watched it all in one sitting.
So what got me about this movie is like, I watched like one of the opening segments and I was like, unbelievable. How are they going to top that? That's you can't top. And 20 minutes later, they topped it. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. That's probably and you see a lot of trailers and the best bits are in the trailers. And I was like, okay, that must be the best bits done now. Now we're getting to the rest of the story and it's going to be intricate, but that's the best in terms of like action sequences. That's the best two sequences I've ever seen. So the film's done now. And then 20 minutes later, they top it.
Yeah.
And as you said to me, I couldn't help but ring you. And as you said to me, it's not even done yet. And then they hit me with another one. And I was like, that's got to be it. Hold on. There's like 45 minutes left.
Yeah.
And then they hit me with another one. I was like this. And then they hit me with a dance. And I was like, a dance should not have worked in this, but it kicked ass.
The thing is, there's a sequence in there. There's a dance sequence in this film, right? And when it started off, I put my hand up. When it started off, I nearly hit the forward button because I was kind of like, it's just going to slow it down, man. I'm not interested in like kind of dance number. What's a dance number do? And then what I realized was the dance number had already started and I'd kind of stopped talking and I was just watching it. And what you realize is it's less of a dance number and more of like another big budget fight scene in many ways.
Yeah. But the thing is, you look at the way they were dancing, those men were working hard.
They were Speaking of someone who used to dance a lot back in the day, right? They should be dead with that level of dancing.
And it wasn't a short dance, it went on.
Yeah. Also, if there was an award for best use of a brother in a film for a short amount of time,
My God.
The black drummer.
I was going to say, in this whole film, there's one black guy, and he's one of the musicians. He's a drummer, and I couldn't. The camera passed by. I went, there's one black guy. This movie, that can't be just it. They can't just be scrolling past him. And then he came back, and I was like, and you could see him feeling like the effect of colonization on his brown brothers.
Yeah,
and it was like, and he didn't do much, but what he did, I was like, yes, sir. I almost saluted the dude.
Also, I think the lead up to the dancing is a slight spoiler, but lead up dancing I think was really pivotal because you had this kind of like mouthy white dude with a big moustache who you just wanted to drop kick into next week, who was so like arrogant, was so kind of like, you got all this silly Indian dancing or whatever, but you know, what about real dancing? What about the stuff what about tango? What about this? What about jive? And that's when it cut to the brother, isn't it? He's like, what about jive? And he cut to the brothers to say, Yeah. And he just listed off all these like appropriated like musical styles. They nailed it. They just nailed it, man.
It's set in 1920s India when, you know, the British colonial effect on India was at its height, and it's not nice.
You know, we always use a phrase like in this podcast where we say proper villains, and by proper villains I mean like people who have no redeeming qualities. Yeah. People who they're just proper villains. You know what I mean?
And the guy who plays the governor.
Oh, man.
To be fair, his behaviour and his wife's behaviour kicked off everything that happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything they got, I was like, you know what? I got no sympathy. I got
none. I had none. I'm going to
sit back, sip my tea and go, yeah, you deserve all of this.
In fact, if I watch it again, by the time they get their comeuppance, and it's the spoiler. I don't care, right? By the time they get when I watch this again, which I will, when I know their comeuppance is coming, I'm gonna pause it, pop into the kitchen, get some ice, get a bottle of whiskey, pour myself a glass, come back, put my feet up, and press play, and enjoy and sip what I'm calling a fine wine, which is called Retribution.
So a fine wine called Retribution. So you know that guy, the guy who played the governor, Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
So he's like the only person I've seen in other things.
Yeah.
He was Punisher.
Oh, do you know his wife, which I didn't realise until afterwards, she's played by Alison Doody, I think. And she was the love interest / femme fatale in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
Elsa.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So, still playing to type.
She's Irish. So they're both Irish. They were both Irish.
Oh, okay.
And he was the Punisher in the 2008 Punisher movie.
Yes, which we loved that film.
Yeah, and he did a voice in. Oh, I've lost it. Where's it gone? He did a voice in Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a whole heap of stuff.
Anyway. Yeah, so yeah, colonialism.
I feel like we've jumped. So
we jumped.
Basically, you've got two guys who have reasons for being in where they are, and it looks like they have opposing ideals and they have opposing missions. One of them one of them is searching for a young girl from a village, and he has, I don't know how he got his powers, but his physical attributes, what he's capable of.
I mean, he's basically the Phantom.
Yeah. And the other guy is there, he's working with the British, and his abilities are on an equal level. So you've got these two equally matched guys, and then the way they meet and become friends without any idea that they are opposites and opposing each other.
I'm sorry, it's the way you just use that sentence, like, and then they meet, like it's a throwaway line, because like when they meet,
the problem here is like how to give away the glory, how to explain the glory of this film without spoiling it, and it's really hard. But the way they meet is one of those action sequences I was talking about that made me go, I was on my feet, I was making noise. I think I might have been on the train. I remember watching bits of this on the train, and there's one bit I actually, you've got your earphones on, so you're not really, you kind of forget where you are. And there's one bit, I made noise on the train, and people looking at me, and I was like, oh. It's impossible to watch this without. It took me back to the old school when we used to go to the cinema and just make noise.
Yeah. I haven't made that much noise watching the film in a long time. And
I watched that the sequence of the meeting. I watched over and over. I showed my kids.
Yep. In years to come, I'll say to people like, this is just an exaggerated version of how me and Dave met, but it's it's relatively spot on. I was on a horse, Dave was on a bike, there was a kid involved. Shit went down.
I mean, I can't.
Also, there's a real there's a lot of action and stuff like that. But that sequence when they meet and then they clasp hands in the most exaggerated way possible, and they kind of say each other's names, like so many other films try to capture that idea of like friendship and male bonding and blah blah blah. It's been a year since I've seen a film do it that well, because if they turned around and told me them two actors didn't like each other in real life, I would find every person that said that and beat them in the inch of their life and say, you're lying. Because I bought it, man.
You kind of hope that when the filming finished, they became the best of friends forever.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, I don't like the phrase, but people call it a bromance. And I'm like, it's two guys who have got a deep friendship. Do you know what I mean? It's just another level of friendship they developed. And it's a beautiful thing to watch and sort of made tragic by the fact that they don't realise that they're on opposite sides. And it's not simple as that. I mean, one thing I really loved about this was I thought the plot was a really good plot.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You know, and the different acts worked together so well. And where this film started, where it went and where it ended, I loved it. I thought the worst acting in the film was the English people.
I know. But it's a similar vibe to like Squid Game.
Go on.
You've seen Squid Game?
I've only seen 2 episodes. I keep meaning to go back
okay,
to.
There's a bit where they bring in some other characters and they're all, I think some of them are British, some of them are American, and it just feels really. I don't know if it's the dubbing or whatever, but it just feels really jarring.
And I wondered if it might be dubbing or what, but I don't.
And this is the same. But then the only one I thought kind of wasn't was like Ray Stevenson and his wife. But then they were doing, but it was their voice. I recognized their voices. So, do you know what I mean? Was everyone else was just But I don't know if that's what they were going for. Look, we just want Carl. Yeah, like someone, like one of the British officers turns out he delivered this kind of Shakespearean performance, and the guy, the director just goes, "Cut." I said, "Look, man, I want you to stand there and be a cardboard cutout villain. Now, can you do that?" You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, let's go. Roll. You know what I mean? And I'm all good with that. No, but
I was more excited for this than any Marvel project.
Yeah.
This year or last year.
And I've seen, with the exception of what we're about to talk about, I've seen many things since RRR and nothing has been able to kind of like, nothing's topped it for me. Elements of Stranger Things have mirrored it. That's what I'll say. Have mirrored the feeling. They've mirrored it, but nothing has surpassed it. You know, my last thing on this will be the people that be listening to going, I'm not going to watch this because it's 3 hours, it's subtitled, I've never watched an Indian film before, and 100 other reasons. All I'll say to you is, if you can find 20 minutes, everyone can find 20 minutes, man. Find 20 minutes. Watch the first 20 minutes of this film. Up until the bit where you see RRR, you know when it comes because you won't miss it, right? Up until that bit, do me a favor, watch that. And if that doesn't do it for you, 2 things: 1, don't bother watching the rest because it won't do it for you.
No, you'll know,
right? And 2, you're dead inside. Cold, nothing there.
I love how you like give people a way forward. You're all these little. All of that, and then it's just like, you're dead inside.
Nothing there, man. Just
dead
darkness.
Inside, and you're dead to me.
Just darkness. I didn't say that. We can still hang out, but the minute you start telling me I only watched 20 minutes, and and I couldn't get into it anymore, I'll just drink up and leave.
We can still hang out, except we can't.
Yeah, just don't talk about it. You know what I mean?
I can't tell you how much I loved. I know love is too small a word for how I felt about this film.
Oh, man, so good. The other thing I'll say is there's a sequence in this film where, because obviously at some stage, you know, they do find that they're on opposing sides and they take appropriate action. Now, you could mirror this story to me and Dave. Is it the fact that, you know, me and Dave became best friends? We're always good friends, you know, to begin with and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. However, as much as me and you have been friends for many, many years, if you pull the shit that one of them dudes pulled in that film, right, we're done. We're done. And that's only halfway through the film when that happens. As far as I'm concerned, film done.
Redemption, man.
We're not no, man. You lashed me with a it's a slice. You lashed me with a whip with nails in it, right? We're done.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
We are done.
I had to do it, man.
We are done. I don't care, man. You need to lash me 60 times. You didn't need to do that, man. You know?
He'd worked too hard, man.
Nah, man. Bad enough you lashed the dude. It was a bit good. Nah, that's not good enough. Here's a whip with nails in it. Look, I'm out. That's my boy. I'm out. Fuck all you, man.
No, I hear you, man. But like when there's thousands of things at risk, there, man. You know, when there's the whole country at risk, you know, you've got to do what's got to be done.
Well, they were at risk before. They say they're going to be at risk tomorrow. That's my stance, man. At least I know where you stand. You know what I mean? You might feel differently if you want to get lashed, by the way.
Absolutely, I would. But if I'm like, not...
No, Brian knows what he's doing, man. No. He's got this, man. Oh, okay, come on, man.
So I watched... I'm just here to save your time. Right. I watched that Kevin Hart movie, The Man from Toronto.
I've seen it now.
And...
It was all right.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it was a bit where it was like, you know what I mean? If was that the film or am I messing? I can't remember. It was some film. I'm thinking it was that one where he was like, you know what? If you need me to talk, I'm your man. Because I don't even need to. You don't even need to do anything. I'll just give me a piece of pen, give me a piece of paper, the pen. I'll sing like a canary. You know.
In fact, how much time have you got, by the way?
A little bit more time.
Okay. I'll quickly just say it's Man, and then we've got to do Stranger Things because this is what I need to talk to you about. Yeah, so one thing I say, Matt...
You're going to talk about Agent Wallace?
Who's Agent Wallace?
Oh, we'll come to that. Go on.
No, all I'll say about that is there's a scene right at the beginning where they got a guy there and he's like, yeah, he won't break. He's ex-Foreign Legion. He's ex-this. I've been trying for 3 days. And then the man from Toronto turns up. He's played by Woody Harrelson and basically lays out what he's going to do to him after he opens up this kind of pouch with all these different instruments and stuff. And I just thought, and then basically the guy then just tells him he hasn't even done anything to the guy, and the guy just goes, yep, the pin number is 2569. Blah, blah, blah. And then the man just packs up his stuff and walks out. You know what? Even though what happens to the guy afterwards, it's a bit sad. After that bit, I applauded. I was like, finally, someone's got the good sense. You tell me?
Yeah.
Because you tell me, I'm going to skin you alive. I'm going to whoa. What do you need? What can I do for you? You know what I mean? What can I do for you?
I'm here for all of that.
Yeah.
just press record. Press record. Let's go.
Yeah. Make sure you get me on the right side because that's the proper lighting. You know what I mean? No, man, sing like a canary. Anyway, Stranger Things.
So I mean, yeah. I've said it before. Said it again. Watch RRR. It's just the best. It's the best. I can't keep saying it. So let's move on. It's time to talk about Stranger Things.
I was going to do music from Stranger Things, and I realised in my head the music was actually X-Files I was doing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So again, this is one where I was like, Stranger Things season 4. I mean, what else can we do? We've kind of done it, haven't we? Season 3 was good. I realised I don't remember season 2. I remember enjoying them, but I kind of thought, have we not kind of reached the apex here? And then Barry rang and said, have you watched it? And I said, no. And I said, why? And he goes, I felt the same way, especially when I looked and saw like some of the later episodes were like hour and 40, 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like final episodes, 2 hours 20, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And he goes, but it's the best yet. So I thought, all right, I'll give it a go. How long ago was that? A week?
Week, yeah,
I
pretty
did.
much.
I did the whole thing in less than a week. I had some late nights. I couldn't stop myself. You know, when you're sitting there on the sofa with your eyes just round and big and open,
Yeah.
and your mouth is hanging open a little bit. That happened. There were some slow moments which I thought they could have picked up a bit, but all in all, that was fantastic.
Mate, I was exactly the same. When you think I normally turn in about 10, right? And you know me, I'm up at crack of dawn, right? That last episode, I think I turned in at it was gone 1 when I turned in. And I actually finished watching the episode at 12:30, but I had to keep going back to rewatch certain bits in the last episode for another half an hour before even the cat was looking at me like, oh, come on, man. You know what I mean? No, it was given how I thought like I wasn't going to go back to this series and how like I just wasn't into it anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For it to have gone so far the other way for me is nothing short of incredible.
The first thing that struck me was how those kids have changed.
Yeah, and I didn't think. I think that's what would really put me off. Because one of the things I loved about it was that kind of wide-eyed 80s kids, 12-year-olds and the boys getting into trouble and blah blah. And when it started, I was like, wow, they look like they're about 25.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But the story was so engaging, they were so engaging that I settled into their ages.
And they'd moved on as well. They were in they were in high school or whatever they were in, college or whatever they call it. I don't know. So so I got past it, and it was really interesting because the format was so different because you had 3 groups. They weren't together.
Yeah.
They weren't together. You had 3 groups doing different things. And I remember I rang you and said, what I'm loving about this is everyone's doing their jobs. Everyone's working. They're all in different parts of the country or even the world. And without realising it, they're all working hard for the greater good. But they didn't even realise. And
I think that final sequence where all kind of everything that they're doing in, like you say, these 3 separate parts comes together is... It's like the very, 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 very best of like a 1980s film. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, and there's so many, and the thing is, in the previous 2 series, not the first series, but in the previous 2 series, a lot of the 80s references were sort of hammered home. Whereas these ones were a lot subtler. Like, did you spot the Star Wars one?
Did I? Yeah.
Okay. When they raid the base.
And I know you'd mentioned to me, guys. You said you'll know it when you see it, and I'd forgotten that.
Right.
And then when it came, I went, oh yeah, Barry did mention this. I was like, there it is. I was like, it was Star Wars. I mean, step by step, that was Star Wars. But also, even things like there's a bit where 11 is in a room or whatever, and I looked in the background. I went, we had that drinks jug.
Yeah.
I was like, and then they're having dinner. I went, we had those glasses. And I was like, this is so weird.
Well,
man.
even there's a bit where she's kind of being trained, right? And she even is dressed a bit similar to kind of, just the top bit is kind of a bit similar to like Luke. And there's some parallels between Empire because it's almost a scene like with 2 characters and her, and she wants to go off and they're like, well, you could go, maybe you could help, but really, you're not ready. You need to stay here and finish your training. And it reminded me of Luke.
Yoda.
Exactly. My friends are in trouble. I need to go. And I'm like, well, you could go, but you really need to stay, you know? And what I loved as well was that even though she did do stuff in it, a lot of the heavy lifting in this was done by the non-powered characters.
Yes.
When you really check it, a lot of the heavy lifting, and I love that. Because what I was afraid of, we'll just get another where she just turns up and, puts her hand, bleeds, and it's job's done. You know what I mean? But I like that you had the others were still had stuff to do. Do you know what I mean? And their stuff was pivotal. Did you spot the?
And do you know what I like? I mean, go on.
I'm just gonna say, someone. I'm trying not to spoil it. Someone in this picks up a sword, right? That's all I'll say because the scene is boom. Someone picks up a sword. Did you recognize the sword?
No, I didn't.
Right. That sword
I'm gonna have to go back up.
Unless I'm wrong, I could be wrong. But I mean, in a picture, I'm like, I know that sword, man. That is the Atlantean sword from Conan. I'm telling you, that's Conan's sword. That is Conan. I'm talking the Arnie films. Conan. That's Conan's sword, man.
Yeah. There's a YouTube. I'm not going to look at that. There's a YouTube thing. Goes, did you recognize Hopper's sword? Yeah. It is Conan the Barbarian.
Told you, man. Yeah. Told you. There's another bit as well where a character uses a shotgun to take out, to attack another character or whatever. The way the shotgun is used and fired is very, very similar to Sarah Connor taking down or attempting to take down the T-1000 in Terminator 2. Do you spot that?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, even the way the gunshot hits him, because there's a specific way where like gets hit and kind of like puts his arms down. I'm like, that looks really familiar to me, and I went back and watched it. I was like, it's the same move. It's the same move, and I'm like, they were on it. To me, it was a sense of like they came off the third season, looked at the reviews, and like, you know what? No, I'm not having it, man. We need to up our game.
Yeah. I had what was it? I never really watched that 70s show. Do you know that show called?
No, me neither. No.
But I just saw a picture where it was like a costume with Lucas and redhead girl whose name I've forgotten, and it's like basically Max. It was the same costume from people. Yeah, Max. It was the same costume from people in the 70s show. I mean, they went to town. The art department deserves some kind of. And Robert Englund, or however you say his name.
Oh, yeah.
As Victor Creel was just amazing.
Just working it. Also, like Kate Bush running up that hill.
And also, I was never a metal guy, yeah? I was never a metal guy, but the bit where my boy picks up the guitar and stands on the roof and starts shredding that guitar,
like you flashing overhead, you're like, you know what? I can't even play guitar, but if I'm gonna go, that's how I'm going. You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, man, it was epic. It's so many, and you said to me, it's like people, if you like people putting it on the line. People were putting it on the line. It was about friendship, and again, it's about friendship, of family, or making family, and whoa.
That whole.
And the other thing that was interesting for me was growing up in the mania about Dungeons and Dragons being a tool of Satan.
Yeah.
Because I remember my parents bought me the basic Dungeons and Dragons set when I was 10, something like that. And then a few years later, the mania started, and they regretted that.
Yeah, I remember I remember them saying, you telling me they were giving you grief over it as well.
Yeah, because it was like churches, evangelical churches, just got on this tip that it was Satan.
Yeah,
it was like from Satan and blah blah blah, and it was like, yeah, we're just pretending.
Yeah, and it's like we don't fight Satan until at least level 4 anyway. What are you worried about? You should be thanking us. We're protecting you. Do you know what I mean?
It was that thing. It was the first set of games that wasn't based on competition. It was based on working together.
Yeah.
And the rest. Anyway. Just so many themes in that. That was just so good. So I mentioned. So I don't do well with torture in things. That's why I've never watched Reservoir Dogs, because everything I ever saw was a torture scene. I was like, I don't want to watch it. There were some torture scenes in this that were hard going, man.
Yeah.
And Agent Wallace. So they sent 2 agents to protect Nancy's friends. Nancy, not to protect Eleven's friends. And one of them was shot and died. But those guys were committed to protecting 11. They were committed. And one of them bled out. And the other one got taken and tortured. My boy went through some torture before. I mean, he broke in the end. But I mean, what he went through before he broke. Do you know what I mean? I just hope Agent Wallace got, I don't know, some kind of. I just hope they were good to him afterwards, because he was strong. He got
him at McDonald's or something. Do you know what I mean?
Got him at McDonald's or something.
got him at McFlurry. Do you know what I
mean? At least.
Yeah, because he got work, man. He got work, man. He got work. There's a bit where he's like, "No, I can't take her." Okay, put it back in the box. No, oh man, tell him something. Tell him something, Wallace, man.
Oh, bro. Yeah.
Tell him something.
No one's gonna blame you, man.
No one, man. And we all know you're going to break anyway, so make it easy on yourself, Jeremy. Yeah, once again, I've proved I'm in fact a yellow belly carrot. And I'm okay with that.
You know what I mean? You and me both, man. I would not last.
But yes, so yeah, Stranger Things, watched it, loved it.
Well played. Well played.
Well played, Duffer Brothers, well played.
What gets me about the casting as well, though, this is going to sound weird. They managed to cast a bunch of people who look like they belong in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. There's a certain look about them, or they all look like the 80s is where they belong. I don't know why.
You kind of feel like if it was set today, everyone would look pretty. I'm not saying the characters don't, but everyone would kind of...
Something to... Yeah.
They all have a kind of... They all look... For want of a better word, 80s quirky, where you don't really see that if you watch that sort of, when you see similar shows set now, you don't really see it in that way. So I do get what you mean. Yeah. Right, buddy.
I also didn't realise that one of the actors was Uma Thurman's daughter.
Neither did I until a couple of days ago.
Yeah, likewise. Anyway, so let us know what you thought. No, don't let us know what you thought. Go and watch. That's the only thing you need to do. I'm not even going to do any blurb. I'm just saying, go watch RRR. That's all you need to do.
That's your homework for next month. We'll be checking up next month.
And if you didn't like it, then I don't understand. But if you did like it, come and tell us your favourite thing about it. Because you know what? I'm all up for, like, you know what? Everyone, you know, what kind of world would it be if we were all the same? No, there's no room for that here. Nope. Everyone needs to love this movie. That's all there is. If you don't like it, then you need to leave. There's a little island. We can go to the edge of... There's a little place on the edge of England, and we can get a laser from a satellite just to cut it off and let it drift out to sea with you all on it. Because if you don't like I'm not sure you belong in this world. Wow. All I talked about was people having a bit of a cold soul. You know what I mean? Whereas you've got all like Magneto people. Do you know what I mean? I've banished them to the lower city. Wow. Okay. Well, if you enjoyed the episode, why don't you subscribe to Geek Syndicate's podcast? All right. Right. If you want to support Geek Syndicate, I don't know why you would after what Dave just said, but if you do, you can. You can buy us a virtual coffee over at kofi.com/Geek Syndicate. Or you can become a patron, which is over at patreon.com/Geek Syndicate. And again, I don't know why you do either of those two things, given what Dave has just said. On that note, you know how to contact us. It's the geeks at geeksyndicate.co.uk, or you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So stay in touch, folks. With your friendly neighborhood geeky podcast. Hey, that's us. Yeah. Till next time, Geek Syndicate, we out.